Welcome to episode 27 of the Out Unknown podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey Canova, joined by my fellow friends and co-hosts, as always, Isaac Housing, Ciran Keneally, and welcome him back after taking a little bit of break because, as the podcast name says, he's out on loan. He's currently out on loan in Oklahoma right now with the Tulsa Drillers, but he's back.
I wish I was on loan to another team.
He wished he was on loan to another team. Obviously, our fellow Spursman, Mr. Colby Gaines. Welcome back, brother. We're happy to have you, man.
Thanks, man. I'm always happy to be here.
I don't know if you're fully happy to be on the episode to talk about that London team, that white London team that just continues to disappoint us every single time. But we're happy to have you on, brother.
Appreciate it.
We're going to talk a little bit of Prem today, as always. We're going to start off with United. No Richard today. Currently going out in Costco's right now, so shout out to you, man. Hopefully you get me a good little slice of pizza right there with a double chunk chocolate chip cookie. I wouldn't mind that as well. So shout out to Richard. And also just a shout out as well to Mama Gaines, Colby's mom. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday to her as well. Much love to her. I don't think this podcast would exist without her, only because she just gave me so much hospitality. That's the right word. Hospitality to stay over at Western New York and meet this awesome group of guys. So shout out to you, Mama Gaines, and hope you have a beautiful 44th birthday. But let's talk with Premier League. Mr. United, the Doc, as we like to call him out here now. We've transitioned from calling it the inside joke to adding it on to our podcast here. United. Still rolling, man. Still rolling.
Yeah, just about. 2-1 win today against Crystal Palace. Very close game, I'll be honest with you. Probably a lot closer than it should have been. Palace scored, I think, in the first 5 minutes of the game. So I thought it was going to be another one of those games where we concede early and then they just sit in a low block for the rest of the game and we struggle. Admittedly, we still struggled. I don't think we've played that well in our past 3 games against West Ham, Everton, and Palace today. All similar teams, very physical, defensive-minded teams that sit in a low block. That is our kryptonite. But thanks to Benjamin Sesko, he got another goal for us today to bail us out. So we're up to third now on the table. Aston Villa lost to Wolves. I have to thank Wolves for doing us a big favor on Friday, helping us out there. And we're still unbeaten under Michael Carrick, which is crazy to say. Because if you told me back in January when Ruben Amorim was sacked that we would be in third place at the beginning of March, I would not have believed you. I mean, even in August, I would not have thought we would be in the top 4 in the spring. I just didn't think we had it in us. I thought we'd be very inconsistent, and we were for a while this season, but Carrick has come in. Maybe some new manager bounce. I think that's part of it. That usually is how it goes with United. But also, I think you have to give Carrick credit. He's starting to just play players in their best positions, especially Benjamin Sesko. I mean, he wasn't really great under Ruben Amorim. I don't know if he was being utilized the correct way or to get the best out of him. But Carrick has handled them really well. I think keeping him on the bench has kind of taken the pressure off of him. He doesn't have to be the sole guy for us who scores every single week. And having him come off the bench, it's been great. Against Fulham, he got the game winner. Against West Ham, he got the equalizer. And today, he got the game winner. So Šeško has rescued 7 points for us in the past, I think, 4 games. So, I mean, that guy – we talk about Bruno carrying United, which I think is true. But I think Šeško has also been carrying us the past 3 or 4 games. Long may it continue. I mean, we play Newcastle this Wednesday, I believe. Not looking forward to that game. But as things stand, I think we have a really, really good shot of being in the Champions League next year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we'll talk about Bruno because, I'm going to get slated on and just criticized a lot by many United fans who have been hearing my earlier episodes when this podcast first started in regards to whether you guys should have sold him or not. I know everyone ridiculed me, and I think Bruno's making me look like a complete dumbass right now with the way he's playing. But what's funny too is, obviously I'm happy for United because my friend's team is being successful right now. They're getting back on track. But funny enough, I've been very critical of this United team And rightly so when the season first started. I just wasn't confident with some of their transfers. The roster I was still hesitant about. And just some of the players, I was just like, are we sure this is the United caliber players that you want to see taking them to the next step? Like just contenders, UCL winners, all that type of stuff. One of those players that I visually remember every time just criticizing, just being doubtful about was Benjamin Sesko. Because I remember every time during the summer I was riding with Eritrea, going to work out, everything. He would always tell me, I think this is a player that we got. I think this is a really good player. He's 6'5", he's quick, he's got the potential. How old is he? Like 23, 24. He's still like in his early 20s. And when you look at the physical attributes combined with the technical attributes, you're like, that's a good player. For me, I was hesitant, really, really hesitant, because I was like, are we sure? The pressure, how is he going to deal with the Premier League? You look at the goal scoring numbers. I was like, I don't know. Yes, in the Bundesliga here and there, but I'm like, you couldn't score more than 20 or 13 goals in the Bundesliga. What are you going to do in the Prem? And he's completely shut my mouth. I mean, just completely. I think he has the talent now that you can see and you can give your faith into next year. Just the headering ability, the physical presence, and just the speed that he has was something that I just didn't really pay attention to, which is my fault as well as someone who was analyzing a player like that. The speed that he had, I think this is so crucial in the Premier League. You need players like that who just run in behind, beat your man, and then obviously 6'5" and can header the ball. I mean, you saw that goal today. I mean, that is just a textbook header, like textbook. Perfect cross, beat your man, the angle, the placement on the ball to put it on the far right top corner. He's a top player, and I can't wait to see. But I think the question I bring up to you now is, Ciran, is we saw that he has scored in 7 to 8 games. And again, it's similar to the realm of United whenever they go on a hot stretch. Will this sustain itself? And I bring that. Do you think this can sustain itself?
You're talking about Šeško, you mean?
Yes, like Šeško, because then United, we already know, like, we have to wait and see. We already know for United. Right. I'm just saying that this comparison and this conversations on Šeško falls under the same conversation of will he be able to sustain this for the long run? Is he the striker that's going to take you forward for the next few years? That's all I'm asking about.
I mean, right now, I feel like I'd say yes. I mean, I know you said the same about Højlund his first year. We all thought Højlund was going to be the guy. After he scored 16 years, he dropped off massively last year. But I think part of that was Højlund maybe wasn't as good as we thought. He also didn't have a great supporting cast. I mean, he had Rashford, Antony, Garnacho. Those aren't creative wingers. They're more the wingers who cut inside and shoot themselves rather than passing to their teammate. Whereas Šeško, he's still got Bruno, he's got Cunha, he's got Mbeumo, and he's got Ahmed, who are way better playmakers than what we had previously. And also I talked about earlier with the pressure. I think that's another thing that works out for Šeško is that we have Cunha and Mbeumo and Bruno. Like those guys can score you lots of goals. Whereas like 2 years ago when we had just Højlund, we were counting on a 19, 20-year-old striker to play every single week for us and score for us. And that was too much to ask of Højlund. Whereas now Šeško hasn't even started that many games. Like, in the month of February, he only played 84 minutes across the whole month. Yeah, he still scored like 3-4 goals and got our player of the month. Like he didn't play a full game in February and he was still that impactful because we used him the right way. So I think if we keep this, I guess you could say, load management up of playing Šeško kind of at the right time without forcing him to do something he's uncomfortable with in terms of playing time, I think he can be. But I think we need another striker to support him in the summer because right now I think Højlund's going to leave. I think Xerxes is definitely going to leave. He hasn't gotten a lot of game time. And it can't be Højlund 2.0 where he's our only striker. He needs someone as like either a backup to share minutes with, or I think he might need like maybe an older striker who could maybe mentor him because there is no really experienced striker we have to mentor him. So I think as of right now, yes. But we actually have to plan ahead and not just say, you've had one good season, the rest is on you. We have to keep supporting him and planning this attack properly. Because I think he also needs a bit more support. I think if his goals dry up, I'm a little worried if we're going to keep scoring. Because like the past 3 games, like I said, we haven't played well. We've kind of just relied on Šeško to score for us. So if he's not scoring, who is going to score for us? That is kind of my main concern right now.
No, I completely agree. And I like the point that you brought up. It is true in the fact that the wingers that you had back then were just, I mean, you look at Garnacho today, you're like, yeah, I don't know how you sustain that guy. Rashford, who's really not like your main, although he can whip a good cross here and there, but he's not like your main playmaker that you need to give to your striker, like a Lamine or a Doku or a Vinicius Jr., for example. So Ahmed is key there, and I really like the fact that you brought in Buemo in there and Cunha, who are just two players that can create their own shots and get their goals, and they cut in really well. So it just kind of gives you those like consistent goal scoring threats that are Premier League proven, as we kind of talked about too. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm curious to see. I'm more in agreement with like they should probably bring in another striker and just give them time to just develop. I don't know if anybody else wants to chip in as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I really liked your point you brought up. I feel like I could remember as far back from our radio show, like junior year, talking about that point with Hoyland about having to rely on a 19-year-old. And I think you talked about how much you saw the potential in him. You just had a feeling that United were going to throw him in a position where he was going to have to be their savior. And it's exactly what happened. And we're talking about it now in 2026. So I think it's kind of ironic, but I mean, I agree 100%. I even want to go back to a point, Jeff, you brought up earlier with like sort of the adaptability and sort of with him coming in. It got a point I saw online interesting about. I was wondering the actual amount of money that the Premier League has spent on the Bundesliga recently. I couldn't find anything from 2026, but 2025, I found they spent $653 million on players from Germany. It was the most outside of, I think, buying players from within the league. It was more combined total spent on players from Serie A and La Liga. But I think it's also more than either, I think, Madrid or Barca spent, or like some on like league signings all in the entire summer. So it's also funny, just like, there's a lot of players coming over from the German league. I'd be interested to see if that's something where United or just teams in general, like sort of where they kind of investigate for this upcoming window. You talk about an older striker. There's a few older ones in the Bundesliga. I don't know how much his adaptability would be. I don't know how much he'd be interested in making a move, but like a Patrick Schick is someone that always comes to mind. I just think he's someone that could go in and get you 10, 15 goals a year in a Bundesliga or in a Prem season. Spend some, I don't know, 30, I don't know how much you'd be willing to spend on a striker. That's always the important question there, but I'd be interested. I don't know. Is there anyone that like when Jeff brings up that sort of like older professional and you bring it up as well, is there anyone that like is kind of in the top of your mind?
No, I mean, not really. I just know like in terms of really good strikers, there's like a shortage in the market. I feel like there's not a ton of great options out there. I mean, last summer I wanted to sign Jonathan David. I thought he would have been a good transfer for us, but he hasn't been great for Juventus, so maybe that wouldn't be one. But I mean, I feel like with United, striker wouldn't be our number one position. I feel like it has to be midfield because our midfield needs to be like massively rebuilt. At least 2 midfielders need to come in. So even if we do sign a striker, it's going to be probably a cheaper, more expensive option. So I don't really know anyone off the top of my head, but it probably wouldn't be. He's been good for you guys, right? Or has he been all right?
Yeah. I think Kane's going to take it over. All I see is the reports are he's just not going to be re-signed with Gia because I think we'd have to spend like 50 or 60 mil or something like that. And I don't think you're spending that on a backup striker. So
what was that year's like? I remember when you guys signed him on loan, it was like this really specific clause where if you played like X amount of games, you'd have to buy him permanently. And then like your CEO said on day one that you guys were not going to buy him on a permanent transfer. That was like the craziest thing I've ever seen from a CEO.
It was quite literally like, you're only here in case Kane gets injured and you'll play like, you'll give like 15 minutes if he really doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean?
The scrub minutes, yeah.
Seriously.
Why did I think about Choupo-Moting for like a good minute?
No, don't diss Choupo-Moting. I can throw on the Choupo-Moting background, right? You know what? I'm going to do that because you brought him up.
Hey, he's Premier League proven. He played at Stoke for a couple of years. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, if he was still there, like, I was also thinking about. Okay, for our Spotify listeners out there, Isaac did just pull up like an AI generated clip or picture of.
I hate it.
What is that? Captain America Choupo-Moting?
I don't know. I just had it. It just was in the camera roll. I don't know where it came from. One of our group chats, one of those years in junior or senior year.
Yeah, definitely. But speaking of like, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna add on to Ciran's original point. I do completely agree with him in the sense of getting somebody to like be the primary striker and kind of mentor Šeško. But I think the main concern for me is like is the next manager also going to have that type of mindset? And is he going to do everything he can to squeeze the best out of Šeško? Because, like, again, you don't want it to be like a Hoyland situation where somebody comes in and just throws him into the deep end, and it's like, okay, we spent this money on you, you're starting every game. So, you really hope that if the recruitment is half as good as it was in last season, then they'll be okay. But I definitely do think that's a point of concern, and that's not even just like a Šeško thing. That's just something that's been lingering in my mind this whole time with United's recent stretch of games. Is I don't know, just like, are they going to keep the same form when they get another manager? And is there a world where you consider keeping Michael Carrick full time? Like, I don't know. I mean, when you're this good, it's like ride the high end. I don't know, but it's just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we shouldn't decide on Carrick until, I don't know, April, maybe even May, because the same thing happened under Ole, where we had like a great 3 months in December 2018 to like February 2019, where we just played so well, won like 10, 12 games in a row. We beat PSG, I think, in March 2019. The next day, we gave Ole a contract, and the second that happened, the players just dropped off. They didn't put the same effort. They mentally checked out because they knew they were safe, and we just tanked the rest of that season. So if we were to keep Carrick, just don't announce it until the end of the season, because psychologically the players do switch off. Because right now they're still in the mode of, he's a new coach, we have to impress him, let's play our best every single week. Whereas if they gave him a new contract tomorrow, I guarantee you we'd probably lose or draw our next game because the players would psychologically check out on him. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to keep this up. I mean, I still think we're faking it. I've seen this story before with United where we have new manager bounce where it looks good and then we go belly up the next season. I'm hoping this is different, but I mean, I like you said though, Colby, we've had some good transfer windows recently. Like, we're building a good team. It's just, can we find the right coach to fit this team? Of course, that's the biggest question you have to ask, but I'm kind of undecided still on Carrick or our next coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I don't even know, like, if I were in your shoes, like, because it's just hard to buy into interim manager results. I don't know. It's such a tricky thing, and the last thing you want to do is give a guy a bag, and he comes in the next year, and it's like half of what he did the year before. So I don't know. I think you definitely. I do agree. I think you ride out the rest of the season. You kind of see how it goes. But I was just curious what United fans think of that, and like if you would even consider bringing him on next year. But yeah, I get you.
I got a striker recommendation for you. Go get Claudio Pizarro. I know he's still out there. Why don't you go get him? He's 50. I think he would do an awesome job. I was just thinking of Bundesliga, and that's the only thing I just wanted to say at the top of my head, man. Just Claudio
Dennis Undev from Stuttgart. There you go. He's like 29. Got like 13 goals in the league. Bigger physical guy.
At that point, I'll just take Garassi. Like, at that point, I would take a 31-year-old Sergio Garassi for a season. He's a good goal scorer. I mean, he's been good in the Champions League.
Yeah. I hear Richarlison might be for sale.
Okay, let's calm down a bit there. Let's calm down a bit with Richarlison.
Come on, you don't want to see the little pigeon dance? Imagine that at Old Trafford.
No, man. It's just the thing. Every time Richarlison scores,
dude, imagine Cunha doing that empty dance, and then you have Richarlison doing the thing, hiding as well. Like, whoa,
that would be pretty. That would be great vibes. But like, I feel like with Richarlison, like I said, like, he's not like a heartbreaking player, but anytime he scores, it's either offside or they go on to lose the game. Like, he never can celebrate a goal. Yeah. So I feel like you'd just make some sort of like curse where he scores and we just lose. I don't know.
You don't think that would counteract that with United? It would like balance out, so then it would always work.
That's a good point. So like our curse and his curse just cancel each other out. I mean,
he's never available either. So there's that.
He's what?
I said he's never available either. So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, you know who isn't a curse and is always available though? Bruno, Sporting Magnifico. Bruno, man. I'm sorry, my glorious Portuguese king, whatever it may be. I'm sorry, man. Man, was I stupid to say they should sell you, bro. Look, in my defense, I've always said this, okay? When Ruben came into this team and the way he was being played, right? I've always said, if you're gonna rebuild this whole roster and get all the bad wood out the way, I'm not saying Bruno's the bad wood, but I was just like, Bruno deserves better. He's been carrying your team for so long. He's an elite creator, probably the best in the world alongside Lamine and Messi and Kevin De Bruyne when they're on it. Those are probably the top 4 creators in the world, I would argue, right? I mean, the stats back him up, the eye test back him up. I mean, Bruno can just literally he can probably feed me and Colby together if we were like in the Prem, and he'll probably pick out the right pass for me to score a goal. Now I'll probably miss it or I'll be offside, sure, but he'll just find the right pass because that's how good he is as a creator. But going back to the original point here, I just thought selling him would be the right move in terms of just getting this whole rebuild started. Like, okay, let's get everyone out the door. Let's give Bruno what he needs, which is like the right team to go compete for. And then you just go in out and rebuild, and you get the money for him to get a new midfielder, a new striker, a new defense, left back, goalie, whatever it may be. But he has been helping out in this transition period. And honestly, man, to take it to the Champions League like this, because he is, man, like 7 goals, 13 assists.
13 assists is mad.
It's mad. I don't know. I keep on blanking because I know De Bruyne and Thierry Henry were competing for, not like physically, like not really competing at the time, but like remember that period where De Bruyne was in there where like he might break Thierry Henry's record of like getting like 20 assists or something like that. What's the record for the most assists in the Premier League season?
I think it is 20. I think that's still the record.
I believe it's 20.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he'll break it? Like, do we actually think he'll break it? Like,
honestly, the past 3 games he didn't get an assist. I think that cost him. I mean, it's possible, but like he's gonna have to get an assist damn near every single game, and I can't count on United to be that good for the final 10 games. As much as I'd like it to be, I feel like it's either his teammates are gonna let him down, or it's just United are just gonna like choke at the end of the season. I would love for him to get that record, but I don't think he's gonna get it.
Look, man, I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna do it. How many games are left in the Prem? Like what? Like we have 25, so we have like what 13 games left.
Well, we United specifically have 10 games left.
10
We've
games
played
left?
28. Yeah.
So he'll have to get what, like 8 assists in those 10 games. Who's
9
to
assists, yeah.
9
Or yeah,
assists?
8 assists, you're right. Yeah.
Who's to say there's one game where like he gets 3 or 4, like 4 assists, and then the next game he gets like 2, then he's on 6, and then like who knows, man. And then like as we were saying earlier with like how like especially in today's day where players like are always focused on the social media trends, like they see what we say, they hear what what we're saying on Sky Sports or through the United stand. They know all that type of stuff. So I think by the time if he gets to 15th or 16th and there's like 5 games left, I think they're gonna do every way possible to get him to break that record. I mean, he deserves it, man. I think looking back and just doing the deep research on how he came into United, how he transformed this team into at least not being almost like a relegation team, like one team that we're gonna talk about later. I mean, this guy has just been carrying, man. Like I can't, like I wish he was on a better team. That's all I'm saying, because the way he's improved these last 2 years as just a creator, as a midfielder, as a dictator of the game, like man, he is the best chance creator in the Premier League. Like he really is. Like he just is. Like I don't see anybody being able to whip out a pass like him. Like the cross is just beautiful, man. To find Sesko, to know where to place it, the passes that he does, the flair that he brings with it now too. I'm not even talking about his goal scoring factor as well, because we know how Bruno came into this league, the penalties, and then his ability to crash the box as well with his headering and his finishing ability with left and his right foot and free kicks too and set pieces. He deserves something, man. And I have a feeling he will break the record. I'm going to call it right now. 10 games left to get 8 assists. He can do it, man. If anybody can do it.
Like, you could argue a step further and talk about Bruno's impact that he could make a good case to be the PFA Player of the Year in the Premier League. In terms of like how good he's been, like he's been carrying this team for, well, not just this year, but the past 6 years, but this year specifically, most assists by at least 6 or I think like 8 assists is like the next closest. Most chances created, highest expected assists, highest XG generated. And a lot of that was playing as like a number 8, as like a deep lying midfielder. I mean, I know there's Declan Rice. He could win the award, or even Erling Haaland, but Bruno's impact, I think, is bigger than both of those players on their teams respectively. I mean, the creative rate that Bruno's at is just insane. Like, it doesn't even feel possible that he's created this many chances, but he does that every single season. Even like the tackles and interceptions.
It's
He's a
insane.
workhorse defensively too.
Hard work too.
Yeah.
Presses, defends, tracks back, and then I've heard people say that he now drops even deeper now, and he has because the one thing that people criticized him earlier throughout his United time was like he's very reckless with like his passing, like he just throws the ball away too easily. But now I'm hearing the fact that, and I trust people's word because I'm not a United fan, so I'm going to trust what their word and what you're saying. But like there's even like there's a sense of like now there's like a higher pause to him, like more awareness to him. There's a better IQ, decision making, calmness to him, where it's like he already had that like X factor that a lot of players don't have. Like he might not be the flashes of all time, but he's an X factor. He's gonna get you a goal. He's gonna get you something. He's always gonna go into a game and he's gonna go out and create something that a lot of players can't do. Odegaard, Guler, just naming a few, because they're flashier on the ball. But that's a guy that will come out and win you a game and give you the right pass. A lot of players don't have that, so I agree with you, man.
And actually, because of his assist today against Crystal Palace, he got officially 100 goals and 100 assists for United. So more than 200 goal contributions. He's only the third player in our whole history to do that, besides Paul Scholes and Wayne Rooney. Now, I'm not going to discredit those two, but they were at the club for much longer than Bruno and had much better teammates than Bruno. So for him to do that in a shorter time span with way worse teammates, no offense, you could qualify that as a legend. Statistically, he could be a club legend. Now, I get the whole trophy argument. He's only got 2 trophies, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. But if you just watch him with how he's carried this team, the stats as well, you can make a good case that he's a club legend.
I think so.
I think
based on eye test. I mean, not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first to say I don't think the game's all about trophies. But I don't know. I mean, you look at a guy like that. I'm sorry. I had to. But you look at a guy like that. I mean, seriously, the eye test says it all. I mean, we can look at these numbers right here on the screen too. Now, where he ranks amongst other United legends, now maybe that's kind of dicey. But like I think if we're just going off eye test and what he's done in his tenure at United, he's definitely a club legend.
I mean, we've also brought up the point Jeff has talked about, like the whole controversy where Jeff got called out for him saying to leave. Like he also has stayed through all of this. I think if there's any point in his career where if he would have asked to have gone, I think we would have understood it as much as we would have been upset. So for the fact that he's obviously been here for this long, gone through that period, and then also seems to be committed to go through whatever period we're about to head into next with United, let alone we don't know where they end up. They could win a few trophies. Who knows? They could win the league in 2-3 years. And then you're really talking about, then where it, like, as Colby brings up, then where is he ranking in those total club legend rankings? So very interesting. He'll be a very fun player, I think, to rank all time for the United era, especially also underrated point. Consider the managers he had. I mean, a lot of those guys basically had, just one manager. So, I mean, even that inconsistency that Bruno's also had to deal with year in, year out, I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
I really like that factor because we celebrate, I think here in America, we celebrate that loyalty, that's sticking through like the hard times. Like we really celebrate that here in American sports, mainly like I would say basketball and I don't know about hockey, but also football too. But mainly basketball because, it's, NBA talk is just crazy. But yeah, the fact that he even stayed through all this and I really like Isaac's point. The fact that he stuck through and you have people like me and other United fans like, bro, we want you out. You're the worst captain, whatever the hell, blah, 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 blah. He's an awful complainer, whatever. It's like, dude, he stuck through that and he's still keeping you in these highs, of being on these runs and keeping you in Champions League contention to make more money and get signings and just keep you from not being in worse spots, which is like obviously relegation zone, which I remember there was a point I thought United were like about to get relegated. I remember there was like days about that, but we won't go into those times. But he's the one that stick through, man. So I think for me, we have to celebrate a player like that. And I imagine he is going to stay next year. I think he will, and he has to. I mean, there's no other way. This is, especially with the way United are trending And if they do get into that Champions League spot with the players they might want to sign, the new manager, definitely a player that you want to keep, man. You want to keep. Just need to keep now. And he shut me up. He shut me up, and salute to him, man. Salute to him. I give him all the praise that he proved me wrong, man. But we will transition next, going away from United. But before that, we will, as always, give a little bit of love to our man, the recent recipient or the runner-up to the Cooper Award at St. Bonaventure University. To our man, Robin Stone. Shout out to Robin Stone. As always, please go out and follow Stone Pictures. As always, our main guy. Kind of like Bruno, he's the elite chance creator in terms of just posting our content out there. So we love you, Robin, and we hope to not give you, managers like, I don't know, man, like just stink it up for you, man. So shout out to Mr. Robin Stone. Just the man right here. But yeah, I think we're God, man. I wasn't gonna bring you on, Mr. Bird, because I was like, does he even want to talk about this misery joke of a team, joke of a players, joke of owners and everything? And it sucks that we couldn't have you earlier on when obviously I forgot the dude's name, Thomas Frank, when he got sacked. And we couldn't have you on. But I think we did a good enough. I think I did a good enough job of just representing the frustrations, right? Because people are telling me, why did you want to be a Tottenham fan? I'm like, I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm just like voicing my opinions if I was a Tottenham fan. And I gotta give out the emotion for my good friend who has to suffer through this, because I don't even think he wanted to hop on to talk about this crap that's going on. But did you wake up to today's game? I hope you did not. You better not wake up. Oh my God.
I had to.
Oh, man.
8 a.m. Yep.
I give you this tip, man. You've had weeks to prepare for this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I haven't been on here. I think it goes without saying. It's not been great. Once you asked me to be on here, I was trying to think, like, how can I encapsulate what has happened with this club in the past couple months? And I think the most significant thing is when you go to January, which right before January was the last time I was on here. And I came on here and I was like, I'm going to be very optimistic, because I think that this January transfer window is going to be what saves us. Because in the summer, they talked about how, we're going to be really ambitious, which they were in the summer transfer window, I would say. And they were like, we're going to follow that up in January. We've got these injections from investors and all this and that. And the fact that it's on the screen right now is making me laugh.
Yeah,
But,
for our listeners out there, I just pulled up all the statistics of this miserable time.
It literally makes me laugh. Like I couldn't even keep a straight face. But they say all this, they say they're going to bring in more players. They're going to be ambitious, make big signings. And then January rolls around and Johan Lange, which is our sporting director, he comes out and he says, we didn't want to panic buy, right? He says we didn't want to panic buy. And mind you, we're in double-digit injuries. Like we have a whole starting 11 of injuries. And how does he follow up with that? He goes and signs Conor Gallagher on $200K a week, mind you, and a 19-year-old left back from Santos. That's the transfer window. That's it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could really sit here and ramble for hours if I'm being honest. But it's malpractice. It is malpractice from the top down. If anybody saw the overlap with Ainge going on there, I think something he said that I really appreciated was that this is a big club that does not act like a big club whatsoever. They're not a big club. And that's directly what he said. He said they're not a big club because of how they manage the club, how they, do transfer business, all this and that. It's not. It's not the practice of big clubs. And I mean, you see that now. I mean, you look at the screen. It's 16th in the Premier League. It's awful. And I don't know. I could sit here and say so much, like I said, but I think it just comes down to a complete disaster in terms of transfer window. And these players are just run into the ground as a result of that. and then more injuries occur, and then there's not signings brought in to plug up those injuries. So it's like, what exactly are you aiming for here? What is the project? I genuinely don't know. And I mean, after you win a major trophy, we're supposed to be where United is right now, and United are supposed to be where we're at. Like, when you think about how that season ended. Now, granted, I don't think United should have been 16th right now, but I mean, when you think about winning a major trophy and all the money that comes with that and whatnot, I mean, you're supposed to be in that top half of the table. You're supposed to be competing for the title. You're sure as hell not supposed to be in 16th. I'll tell you that much. So I don't know. I don't really have much more else to say than that. It's just been a nightmare. And they have got a heavy task on their hands, not only to close out the season, but into next year, because I have no clue what is going to happen these next 10 games, but it's not looking good. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the games. I'm very curious to see who you're playing. What are your next matches? Because I was gonna talk about like next season, because God, I pray for you guys next season, because I think this is the one year where I think back then I was like, Tottenham might pull out a good player in there, maybe for 20, 30 million, and they might sign someone big. I think you guys have zero chance of doing anything of like that.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's not even the trouble isn't in there, because now it's like, not only do I think we're going to struggle to sign any big names, but now you're going to lose the only big names that are on your team. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, it genuinely makes me upset to sit here and talk about this, but like, there's a good chance that Van de Ven's gone. There's a good chance that Romero's gone. There is no reason to stay with this club right now. There's no direction. There is no plan. So I wouldn't blame them whatsoever if they left. It would break my heart, but like, why would you stay here? I mean, these people, this board are clowns. I mean, that's really the best way I can put it. They don't know what they're doing, and it's sad to see what they're doing to this club. And I hate to see it, especially for the fans, because the fans put everything into this club, and they don't get an ounce of that in return with results and transfers and everything in between.
That's my fear with Tottenham, because I think we said like 2 or 3 weeks on here that they need to rebuild. I think Jeff said they need like to bring Poch in as like the rebuilding manager. But even then, like we just said, even if they do commit to a rebuild, who's to say that they sign the right players and rebuild the right way? That's my other concern, is like I like the idea of rebuilding. I think Tottenham needs that from the ground up. But can I trust this board or this ownership to sign the right players? Like, you look at Harry Kane and Son, I don't think those two have been properly replaced.
No,
I don't think they have.
No,
so
not.
Van de Ven leaves. Are they going to properly replace him? I can't say they will.
I will say, I think the summer transfer window at least gives me a little hope that we can sign some right players, because I do think the signings were good in the summer. I think Xavi is a good signing, even if he's had a rocky season. It's been tough for him to settle in, but I think he's also a situation kind of like how you were talking about with Højlund, where it's like your starting cam goes down. Here's the keys to the team. Like, you're 20 years old. Go win us the league. Like, I mean, that's basically what they're saying, and it was just never going to happen. And I mean, anybody who's listened to me talk ever since we signed him knew that that's how I felt about it. I knew that he wasn't going to come in and be a world beater in his first year. It's tough playing in the Prem, and it's tough adjusting to the Prem. So there's that, but I do think he's a good signing, and I do think he's going to be good with good time. And I mean, Kudus, I don't really think I have to speak on. I think he's a really good player. He's Prem proven. I mean, I think if he was on the squad right now, I don't think we would have half the struggles that we do. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't get proper depth for these players and you run them into the ground and then they get hurt. Like, I mean, I don't know. And I completely agree with you. I mean, I saw Isaac's nod of disapproval on Poch, and don't get me wrong, I want him to come back just because it's like me clinging to, good results in a good period. But I don't think that bringing in Poch like magically fixes all the problems. I'm not that delusional. So Yeah, I think you're completely right to question whether this board can bring in the right players. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's even within their power at this point because they've messed up so bad that you can't bring in the best players in the world at this point. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's the biggest thing right now. If for all Spurs fans, is it's just a time of uncertainty and disappointment and gloom. I mean, it's just depressing, seriously. So that's all there really is to say.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned that gloom. I think it's sadly, I'll say it. You have to start realistically thinking about relegation just because you're in that zone and you're only a matter of a couple match days off of that. And you talk about the squad, you talk about the pressure already you have with the injuries. You don't have the luxury of sitting in a 12 to where you can, even if you start to dip in form, you know you have a little bit of safety net. Every game now is important from here on out. You look at even just Crystal Palace coming up this week. I mean, you're only 4 or 5 points behind them in the relegation battle. They're taking that game seriously, especially after this United result. They need to stay above. You have a Liverpool after that. I mean, then yeah, where you are at the table, every team you're playing outside of 3 teams are better than you and have been better than you this season. You talk about Poch. I think the benefit you get with Poch is no matter what your situation is next year, I think he would commit. But like that's a man that truly loves this club, and I think would want to be there for as long as he's willing to see the club through to like maybe get to a better point, or at least to be able to hand them off to another manager that can take them back to sort of what Tottenham once was. But it's scary. It's scary with the way that squad's been performing, with the results they have upcoming, and if they dip in a few more matches, let alone mixing in Champions League, which I think you already just have to kind of throw away, just because if you keep that going, you that's even more. You would love to. I'm sure you would love to be able to make a run, but like even that more stress on the players. You're not really sacrificing a Champions League run to maybe risk even a relegation even more. I don't know. I've never been more scared. I think about Tottenham in just ever.
I completely agree. I've never been so scared for a team like that I've known so long. Like I remember we've had those conversations where like 2 years ago when throughout our college, I'm like, when is Everton going to get relegated? When is this team going to get relegated? But it's so funny that, well, not funny, but it's just so disappointing that one of the teams that we're actually like rooting for consistently is Tottenham, and they're like seriously like in consideration because of your injury crisis, which I'm not even going to ramble about, which is so insane to me that you guys really did not go. I hate when clubs and owners are not aggressive in that sense. Like you have to figure something out. You cannot be this passive to the fact that you're just killing your players when you know exactly that this sport has been physically taxing every big team's best players. Barca have gone it. United, PSG are going through that right now. Madrid are notorious for that now. Even Man City at one point went through this because of the amount of games that are being played. And we have a World Cup year coming up now. We have a World Cup summer, so that's going to be even more taxing because of how much players are going to give it their all for the talent that you have. And you still went into that summer thinking just Conor Gallagher and a little left back? Like, are you seriously that? Like, I'm sorry, that's just stupidity in my opinion, and laziness and complacency. And I've complained
at Chelsea.
And what'd you say?
Well, we laughed at Chelsea for how many players and how large their squad is, but look at the depth that they have. They don't have these. No, they're never talking about these issues.
I completely agree. Like Chelsea, like they've figured out. Even Arsenal, we've laughed at Arsenal, like how much they signed defenders. But you know what, bro? Look at the results today. They have like the best defense, and they're missing like Calafiori and Ben White, and they signed like Timber and Hincapié. And look at them; they're probably like the best defensive team. Well, they suck offensively, but at least they have depth that you can at least rely upon and just be like, maybe we can compete with that. What are these teams doing? They're just like, oh no, we're just gonna ride or die, and then we're gonna kill our players. We're gonna kill a Van de Ven. We're gonna kill his hammy and make him even less. We're gonna put more minutes on him, and I'm scared for these youngsters too that you're gonna bring in because they're gonna play heavy minutes, and then you're gonna make them even worse because their body's gonna deteriorate as they play more minutes. Because guess what? We're not gonna sign a replacement. We're not gonna bench them. We're not gonna give them a little bit of competition, and we're just gonna run them down.
That's literally what they do with Archie Gray. I mean, the kid's a midfielder, defensive midfielder, and they will play him at any position that they can because they would rather do that than go spend money on, an extra left back we did buy an extra left back, but extra right back, whatever. I mean, today he was playing left back. I've seen him play right mid. I've seen that's just malpractice.
I see he was playing center back.
Yeah. Last year he played center back. That's right.
That's strange.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
To me, it's just like I don't understand how you can pass up on some players and not at least give them a go. Like Lookman, for example, I don't know how he would have done. Maybe he wouldn't have done well for us. I don't know. But like we're in a situation where you have to take that chance. Like this is not like you can't be taught like them to go out and make a statement, say we didn't want to be, like we didn't want to overspend or panic in the transfer window. Well, look at us now. Now it's like genuine fear of relegation. So you just look stupid to not even try and make an offer on some of those players.
You always have to panic when you're in these situations. You have to panic. You have to react. You can't just allow these things to happen, especially when you look at the track history. I hate when teams are like, we can't panic. Well, I think in certain situations you do have to panic because you look at the other teams and what they're doing. And yeah, Chelsea are ass, which is why we make fun of them, but they have depth. So maybe next year their players will turn up, or they'll just spend another $50 million, which sucks. But I mean, who knows? The Lat might get an injury. João Pedro might break his ACL at this rate, or tear his hamstring. But that's what they brought in, a new striker that can replace him.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned fullback there. I just think of even my team. You talk about big teams, how they act. Look at Galatasaray. We were actively shopping Sacha Boey, a fullback, an offensive fullback that you could have used. Could have just even walked in and started for your team. I think even maybe around 30, I remember. But again, actively selling him for months. Galatasaray came in, signed him back. Like that's a player you could have just thrown easy negotiation. Top team actively trying to get rid of someone, and boom, could have stepped in and solved at least a little bit more injury. Right, like it's that sort of stuff. I know you, like you said, you don't want to panic buy, but hey, sometimes you have to based off your situation, or sometimes you just have to give it a shot, and it could work. It could be your future right back for the next 5 to 10 years. You never know.
Yeah, and it goes back to like the ambitions of Tottenham and Colby's point about Ange on the overlap. He talked about in 2024 they finished 5th. That was after his first season, which was, pretty good for a first season. He wanted to sign players like Brian Mbeumo, I think Antoine Semenyo. They ended up signing, Mark Gahey too. They ended up signing Solanke, which I think that was at the time good. He was a really good goal scorer for Bournemouth. I'm like, yeah, he could be great. But they signed Solanke and like 2 teenagers. And no offense, but that's not going to be enough to get you into that top 4. That's nowhere near enough. Or even 2019, they get to the Champions League final, an amazing achievement for that squad under Poch. What do they do in the transfer window? They signed Tanguy Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso. Like anytime Tottenham have a good season, they just massively misspend, or they just don't spend in the right areas. So even when they want to be ambitious, they don't spend in the right areas. They just completely get the transfer windows wrong. I think
list the name of these owners, please. Anyone throughout the show, please list out the names, because now I'm getting really pissed off. Now it's getting me angry. Now list out the names.
Yeah, Johan Lange is the sporting director, and then I think his name is Vinay. He's the former Arsenal CEO, president. Imagine that he comes to Spurs and runs us to the ground. And then the Lewis family too. Those 3 are the big ones, but I mean they're all equally responsible. They're all terrible at their jobs.
Get out.
But I don't know. I mean, like to your guys' points, they just operate like a mid-table team without the scouting of a mid-table team. Because I mean, I can't even say they operate completely like a mid-table team, because you look at teams like Brighton and Brentford. I mean, they know how to scout good young players and bring them in for low cost, but we can't even do that right. And I mean, I will say, like I was saying, I do think there's been some hits over the past couple of years. Like to Kieran's point about Solanke, I think Solanke was a great signing. I think that he's our best striker on the team easily, and anytime that he's in the game, I just feel like we're so much more dynamic offensively. So I think Kevin Danzo was a great buy, a backup center back. I mean, I never have any fear when that guy's on the pitch. I mean, the teenagers that we bought, I think a lot of them are good. Like Bergvall, I think will play for a top club in a couple years. I think that Gray is really good. I think Odebear is even good, but it's just like to Kieran's point, that's just not going to get it done. Like those are depth pieces. Those are not like starting players for a Big 6 club. And it's just ridiculous to even think that they are, and to try and just force them into the lineup and just take us to the promised land. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I completely agree on all fronts.
I mean, like, even back and you look at some past windows, I'm looking at 2023, 2024. You can talk about the success of the players, but you want to talk about how many they brought in. You brought in Brennan Johnson, James Madison, Pedro Porro, Mickey Van de Ven, Kulusevski, Radu, Vicario. Like, that's a number of players you're bringing in to at least try something. Yes, some are going to work, some are not going to work. But, like, where's even that? You're talking about Solanke and 2 teenagers. Why not Solanke and maybe 2 teenagers and just even 2 like, rotational players? Someone from a championship, someone from, I don't know, Spain, or from it, like, you, where is that? I don't know.
I don't know either. That's the problem. I genuinely think this is an instance of if you took fans from the seats and put them in the front office of the club, I think they would make better decisions. And I mean that genuinely because it's just puzzling. It's just puzzling.
But final thing before we move on, and obviously recap the end of Premier League before we move on to UCL and La Liga for a bit. Final call. Do we think Spurs is going to get relegated this year, yes or no?
I'll go first on that, and I'll just say I don't think they will. That's not to say I'm not terrified of it, because I am. I'm not undermining that or the relegation battle, because it is a real thing. It's been a real thing for weeks. I told you that, Jeff, a month or two ago. I was like, this is a real thing, and it's no longer like a ha-ha funny we can be relegated like last year. Like, this is a real concern, and like Isaac said, you might even have to subliminally throw the Champions Leagues just so we can focus on the league. So yeah, I do think it's a serious thing.
Sucks, man. I think if you were fully healthy, sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying which sucks too, because if you were fully healthy, and like we've talked about how physical the Prem is, how like their intensity and all that thing, man, if you guys were just healthy and you really were just fully, like, let's say you were like 4th or 5th, you're in there in the like getting Champions League spot guaranteed next year, you can go into that Atletico game, and I would say you have a shot, because, again, the intensity that you guys bring from the Prem into a Liga would bring a big message against any team, I would say, from the Liga, especially under those favorites. So I would have been like, dude, you can actually make a decent run, and I'm not saying they would have gone to the final, but I'm like, dude, you could have done something. But now, like Isaac said, and like you're in agreement too, they're not going to do that. They have to throw that away, which is just awful. It sucks. Because that's the beauty of the Champions League. You want to be that underdog. You want to compete. But you're going to have to throw it away now, because we have to focus on not getting relegated next year.
Yeah, especially with how the bracket lined up too. I think if we were fully healthy, there's no reason that we couldn't make a run to, at most, the semifinal. If everything aligned, we were playing our best ball, I think there's a world where that could happen. Now, I don't think we would get any further than that. And of course, it's the best case scenario. But yeah, I completely agree. I think we could have made a decent run of games if we had it all there, just because the bracket is so sweet on that side. But like, I don't know. It's just, no, I don't think we'll get relegated, but I think it's going to be damn close. Say that.
Will it be like a Troy Deeney in a way, where like this last game?
Yeah, I don't know if I would be celebrating like the Watford fans, but I think it would be.
Oh, I would be, honestly. I'd pay to see that, but I don't know. I'm just gonna also say I don't think so. I think, but you are gonna have to like go to like the last 2 or 3 to really, like, you're not gonna guarantee after these next 4 games. Like, no, I think it's gonna go until like the last 2 or 3 potentially, even to the last day, to see if you guys survive. Like, seriously. Yeah. I don't even know what's that last game yet, because only obviously on the Prem table I can only see like the next 4 or 5 that you guys got. But even then, like Isaac said earlier, like these like Crystal Palace at home, I don't know. Liverpool away, yeah, no. Nottingham Forest at home, who knows? And then you got to go to Sunderland, and then Brighton. Like,
there is no like free win anymore.
There's no free win. There's nothing.
You're nothing. Like, I mean, I thought today was our get back game. I thought, like, okay, we go to Arsenal, or we play Arsenal. Like, yeah, I'm not expecting us to win. I thought we'd do better than 4-1, but whatever. But I thought today against Fulham, it's like, okay, here's a chance to really show what you've got. New manager, what do you guys got? And it's second best for the entire first half, and then it's like too little, too late in the second half. It's just like, I don't know. And I want to make that clear too. I'm not like blaming this whole season on injuries, because these players have been horrific too. is not just an injury problem. I mean, regardless of I thought the tactical setup from Frank was awful too. But like, I mean, even today, like you take all of that out of the equation. You got a new manager. We go and play at Craven Cottage, and it's just awful. Like it hurts. I mean, you watch that game, you watch us lose every duel, every ball, and then you go watch the Arsenal Chelsea game, and you're watching everybody hold up the ball, link up play, all this and that, and it's like, why can't we do this? Like, and it's maddening. That's all there is to say.
Yeah. Isaac and Ciran, your thoughts?
I think they do. I'm going to be honest. I think, honestly, sadly, I think the only way you get a true wake up or rebuild at this club is by going through that. I'm going to be honest. I don't think the board really learns if they don't even get relegated. I think there's even a weird way where they delude themselves, even if they narrowly survive, even if I maybe truly don't believe that. But no, I just think these matches are too serious coming up. And I just think flat out, as a mix of injuries, you just haven't been good enough. The manager change, I don't even think your new manager is one that I have a whole lot of hope. I can't point to anything in the squad, barring I don't know where you are with people coming back from injuries, but unless some players' forms absolutely change out of nowhere because they also realize they can't get relegated, I don't see a world where Tottenham kind of continues. I know that would take at least one or two teams to probably pick up some form below them, but hey, stranger things have happened there.
I want to say no, just because I think Wolves are so bad. I think they're kind of drift. I honestly think Burnley are way off it too. So realistically, I think there's only one spot left, I think West Ham and Forest are worse than Tottenham. Say what you want, but I think Tottenham would have a better team than those two squads. But my main concern with Tottenham is their home form, because, like, not to joke or anything, but teams in the relegation zone or that are flirting with relegation, they can always fall back on their home form and being really good at home to pick up points. Like, look at Leeds this season. I think like 70% of their points have been at home in El Round. They've made that place a fortress. But if you look at Tottenham, I think they have like the third or second worst home record this season. So like they can't even go to their stadium and say, hey, we're going to be hard to beat here. We can pick up points here. Like they can't even say that, because almost any team would fancy themselves to go to Tottenham Stadium and get a result. Like I really am worried for them. Like they don't have anything to fall back on at this point.
Yeah. I like what Isaac says, even though I don't necessarily agree that they'll go down. I do think at the end of the day that he is right in a sense. I think it would be terrible and it would take a long time, but there are days where I think that the best thing that could happen to this club is to get relegated. Because unless the entire board is going to resign tomorrow, which isn't going to happen, then that's really the only alternative for a wake-up call. Truly. So I don't know. Wouldn't that be fun if they just went down? Like
FIFA YouTubers would have a day on career mode rebuilds. That would be like phenomenal. I'd say that.
Hey man, we need a championship insider. So, dude, Bert, you would fit in.
Oh no.
Oh, you think I'd be watching every game?
Yes.
I think
it's cheaper.
Honestly,
That'd be insane, bro. Saturday, Tuesday. That's like 3 games a week.
Hey, all the games are on Paramount Plus. I do have that. So
that's true.
And we would have the nicest stadium in the championship. So maybe it's not so bad.
Largest transfer budget in the Champions League. No way you're not throwing like money in that transfer.
Oh, we'd get outspent.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Not Norwich off their 25 million or like 30 million Josh Sargent transfer window outbuys Tottenham in the next window.
It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't.
Oh my god! But we're gonna quickly recap our Premier League table before we take a quick little break here. But as always, started off, as Ciran mentioned, with a 2-0 Wolverhampton's win over Aston Villa. Big points for obviously United. We're now going into third place or fourth in there. Bournemouth 1-1 with Sunderland. Big win for Brentford 4-3. Liverpool got a big result, 5-2 win over West Ham. Baby Isak continues scoring. Remember the name, Baby Isak. Hugo Ekitike continues his great form. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about him when we get into international break. As we know, France are one of the heavy favorites that go into that tournament, and we'll just have to wait and see whether Baby Isak will get into that lineup and just kill it with France. Newcastle got a disappointing 2-3 loss against Everton, so
That was a good game. I actually ended up I watched that game because it was
You did?
before the Dirk.
So that
Pass.
save, that was an incredible save, man. From who was it? Jordan
that's
Pickford,
true.
right?
It was Jordan Pickford.
Pickford,
Save
man.
of the season right there. That was an
You think so?
amazing save.
Yeah,
It
was
could be.
It's
First
up
time
there.
volley like that, that's an insane save.
That is
Some
insane.
nice
And that's why
back-and-forth
he's
football.
England's keeper, man. I always turns up, and there's a reason why he's England's keeper, man. Shout out to Jordan Pickford picking up form at the right spot, man. Big result for Everton. Obviously, the big talking points, obviously, are going to, besides Tottenham and United, are obviously the title race, which is still there. No interesting changes as Man City got a crucial 1-0 win against Leeds. Another goal for Semenyo, who's just been class for Man City. I still can't believe we let him go. And also, we talked about the transfers that a lot of teams have been getting. I'm getting really mad at the fact that Madrid just didn't want to go in for Mark Guehi or any other big team that needed a center back. You guys are big idiots. Like I can't.
They got him for dirt cheap too. That's the crazy
cheap
thing.
too.
Nothing.
That's an England starter. What are y'all doing to let Man City get him? What are y'all doing? That's a top center back, and you let him go. Like, it actually frustrates me. Like, that they're in competition. Any of the big teams, because I know Madrid were interested. I know Chelsea were in there. I think I don't know who. I know there was other teams.
Bayern, we were in there, and I was even surprised. I'm like, I don't know why we're in there. We don't even really need a center back, but we're not. We're here in Madrid, isn't like that? Doesn't
that one still pisses me off because it's like you need a center back right now, a top one at that case, because one of them is out injured, and then the other 3 or 4 are just like bozos in their own way. But like, you let them go to Man City for free, like when that's one of the biggest frailties as a team too. You got to take away their power. You got to snatch that up. You're really good at snatching up other players that we don't need, but when we need them the most against other teams that make them more powerful, you don't want to do it. And now look at that man of the match type of performance. Like, come on, man. Like, God. Like,
just reminding me of, you talk about Guehi and Semenyo and stuff. It just reminds me how they tried to justify Tottenham's transfer window by saying we tried to sign Semenyo, but he turned them down. So they offered him the most money of any of the clubs that offered for him, but obviously he didn't want to sign there. He'd rather go to Man City.
I would.
So they were like, well, we tried to sign Semenyo. Like, oh, thanks. Cheers. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, man. And honestly, man, looking back, dude, if you had Guehi and Semenyo, I mean, Jesus Christ, your team would just be.
Semenyo is so good.
It's really good, man. What a player. God, man, what a player. Just clinical. Like, I love players that are just effective and clinical.
He's got a great attitude too. He's just such a hard worker. Doesn't complain. Just does what he's asked. It's really great to watch. I love to watch him week in and week out.
And then obviously Tottenham result 2-1 loss. Brighton 2-1 win over Nottingham Forest. Obviously United 2-1 win over Crystal Palace. And then the big one today, the key match was the London Derby. I'm sorry, but how do you pronounce? I can't pronounce Chelsea's manager. What's his name again?
Liam Rosenior.
He's so funny. He's so funny. Did you see the goal? Oh my God! Like, the memes just don't help him out. He doesn't help himself. I'm sorry. I'm probably being a bully right now, and it's probably messed up. I mean, who am I to laugh at a guy like him? But did you see the clip where I don't know if it was the first or the second goal. Oh no, it was the red card, the Pedro Neto red card. Did you see that one clip where the camera panned to him, and he looks so mad, like a mad nerd, like didn't get picked on in class, and he's just writing down the notes. I swear, I saw that and I started dying of laughter. That is the fun. I gotta send it to you guys. That is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I know he wasn't trying to be funny. No, I don't think other people find it funny, but I just find it funny because he just looks so mad. But like, in such a this nerdy type of attitude he has. I don't know what it is about him, but he just makes me laugh.
I need to hear people start talking about Chelsea's discipline issues the same way they talk about Christian Romero, because this is getting ridiculous. What is that? Their 9th red card of the season.
I'm gonna fact check that right now.
And it's not even that. It's the way they get them too. Like, Neto's first one was from talking to the ref, and then his second one, after he already has a yellow, is just the most careless challenge I've ever seen on Martinelli. And commentator was tearing him a new one the whole time about it. Like, how do you get a yellow in that game and then not be conscious about that when you're going into challenges and stuff? It's so reckless. And I mean, it could very well cost them European football next year, legitimately, because they're out of it right now. They're in 6th, I believe. So
Yeah, they're down. And I don't know. The table is really shaping up with Man City, Arsenal, United might sneak in there if they don't crumble with the next few weeks. But I don't know. We'll see. But going back to the red cards, 7 red cards. And oh my God, is that 65 yellows? Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'd love
Oh,
to see where that stacks up against other clubs, but
yeah, I can't. I don't have that right now. I mean, if someone wants to
I
pull it
swear
up,
I saw on the broadcast they said 9 red cards. It was something to do with
I think that was like across all competitions. I think
Okay.
they
that
had
might be
won the
okay.
Champions League, won the FA Cup, maybe. I think that's
Okay.
where the other two come in.
9. Oh my Lord. 7
But
alone in the. Jesus Christ.
I think
God.
that speaks to one of the big issues at Chelsea. Like, say what you want about the coaches, but the fact that they've had 2 different head coaches and they still have the same discipline issues, I think it shows there's a lack of leaders in this team. Like, say what you want, but if they had a proper couple of leaders, let's say, they would grab those players by the scruff of their neck. They would really kind of discipline them and tell them that they can't get away with that. Or even like, I just don't see leaders in this Chelsea team. I know Reece James is the captain and Enzo Fernandez, maybe. I'm not too sure
No,
about him,
because
but
Enzo Fernandez is the one that's he's part of it. Like he's part of the
yeah,
one inciting these red cards and stuff. So like he's not.
he's the vice captain though, which is kind of weird because why is a player as rash as him being like a vice captain?
No.
And
And
that's
I
why
know
I kind of
I'm not. I shouldn't be one to talk either. Obviously with Romero and stuff, but like it's just I don't. I completely agree with you. There's just no leadership on the team whatsoever, and it shows.
that's why I worry about like if they can make a great run in the Champions League. I know they have a good amount of talent, they have the depth, but if they have those kind of disciplinary issues, if they're losing 1-0 to I don't know, like say PSG for instance, and Pedro Neto bad talks the referee again, now they're losing to PSG and down a man. I just their youth and inexperience is what still holds me back with Chelsea. That's why I can't trust them because A, I don't think the defense is good enough, to be honest with you, but B, they don't have the leaders. They don't have that kind of know-how and knowledge to manage those different like game scenarios. They just have a really poor discipline record. It's so bizarre because it used to be Arsenal that were getting all the red cards. Now it's Chelsea for
Now
whatever reason.
it's yeah, and I agree with you guys. Sometimes people are like, why do you need like these vocal leaders that aren't going to contribute? I'm like, well, there's a clip that Mourinho. I think there was a Mourinho, even though I've been pissed off with him for the last few weeks. But there was a one good clip from the past where he talked about how he was manager of Porto, and we had this one player. I don't remember his name, but he was like one of the veteran players on that team. Didn't get any minutes. Was just on the bench, but he was just such a like when you look at him, you're like, oh yeah, that's a guy you just don't want to mess with. Literally, I think they were losing like 1-0 or something like that. Mourinho was about to go off on them in the locker room. The guy said, the player literally told him, no, wait 2 minutes. Got into the locker room, and all you just heard was like shouting and screaming and everything. And then they went out, and he told them, job's done. And I think they went on to win the game. It's like stuff like that that people don't really understand. You just need people to help hold themselves accountable and just be like, yo, like, get a little slap in the face. Like, Prue, you get up. Like, a little, throw them water. Like, yo, you need to step up. Like, you need to, like, stop doing these. Shut your mouth and go play. Like, I don't want to, not that way. Not that way, guys. Not that way. But I'm just saying, like, please just focus on the game and go lock in. Like, please, like, watch your man, cover this, cover that. You know this referee, like a veteran will tell you, like, this referee likes to give you 2 yellow cards if you say this one word. Don't tell him that. Like, those are the type of valuable things that can win you a game or cost you a game. So I'm in agreement with you. I can't believe that Chelsea just don't have those leaders. But it's funny you do say that. I do think they beat PSG, though, honestly.
I don't doubt them. It's just like I worry what happens if they do face that adverse moment where Caicedo or someone gets a red card or the emotion gets to their head. I just don't trust them to calm down to stay in that game because they drew against Burnley last week with the red card. They lost today with the red card. I mean, I don't trust them fully.
I mean, and it's like, what happens if they actually do miss out on European football next year? And like, you're thinking about that stuff. Like, what? Something has to happen within the club if that's the case. Grant, I know it's kind of overreacting. There's 6 right now. There's still 10 games to go. But like, if we just assume that the season ended today, and a team is missing out on millions of dollars but not being in the Champions League next year, it's like something's got to give. So what happens internally that kind of shifts that focus? Because I don't know. I think that'd be some very uncomfortable conversations that would come up if that were to occur.
Yeah,
I think you're in a fun spot too, where you are. You have like a Villa coming up, and I think that's really the spot you're looking at probably right now. I think you assume Liverpool is probably going to bounce back into some shape of form to finish off the season. But I mean, Villa, what you're looking at, one win in their last 5. Say you,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be another loss for Villa if you or your Chelsea go on to beat them. That's what, a 3-point gap now. So who knows? But still, it's risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as we close off our Premier League talk, we got Arsenal still leading. Well, Arsenal did win today 2-1. Set Piece FC strikes again, but I mean, they're just the best set piece team in the world right now. I mean, they're the best, man. We just got to hold our hands up for them, man. They're just two dominant center backs that can score headers. Then you have the fullbacks that can score headers. Then you got Rice in there. You have Gyökeres in there. It's just an impossible team to defend on set pieces. I think they're on record to break. They have some type of record that they broke. I don't remember what exactly, but there was a
I
record.
think they tied it today because they just scored their 17th goal from corners this season, which I think is like
Jesus.
the Premier League record 17. So they can easily break it. Like they'll probably break it next week.
Yeah,
And for me, it's not even like their success from set pieces either. It's how they win the ball back and press that's really the most fascinating thing for me. I mean, you watch them; they just constrict teams to where they cannot leave their own box. I mean, if you watch Chelsea today, there was like a dead period towards the end of the game for like, no joke, close to 5 minutes. Maybe it was more like 2 minutes, but there was no commentary. Chelsea were just stuck like on their box, just trying to pass out for like 2 straight minutes, could not get the ball up the field. No, they weren't even commentating or anything. It was just dead silence as they're like fighting for their lives. It's I don't know. It's kind of like beautiful to watch, dare I say. Just a team be so good at winning the ball back. But I mean, all other aspects of how they play is awful. And
Yeah,
I hate it.
I think other people would say like that's not beautiful to watch, but I think for me, I think it's just very respectable in that sense. It's
Yeah,
like,
I should say that it's not beautiful to watch visually, but like just I guess how good they are at it. Yeah, I mean you got to respect it. That's the
like you said. I think that's what their best strength is. Because remember earlier when they first started this like Arteta party, they were like a high flowing tiki taka type of team that were just building up from the back, pressing, blah blah blah, attacking football. Now they're a team that I think since of the struggles that they've blown when they were playing that style of football, they transitioned into this like, no, we're just gonna like play pressing games and all that type of stuff, and we're not gonna allow you to play your game. We're just gonna kill everything. If we're not gonna kill you, like if we're not gonna be able to score goals, guess what? We're not gonna allow you to score goals either. So we're gonna kill you in the what's the best way possible is through set pieces. So I give them a lot of respect in that matter. It's just now in Champions League, when they go up a team that can counter through that press, which is like a Bayern, for example, a PSG, a Barca, for example, now that they're probably running the same block too. Like Barca have those type of players that can break them down just through their passing range and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see whether their physicality will be enough to translate that and just kill you out your momentum and just kill you out the whole game. Because that's what they're really good at, and I give them a lot of props for that. And that's why they're first, man. They've dominated these other Premier League teams. Just be like, no, we're just not going to allow you to play your game. Like, and that's you said, and I agree with you. I remember watching those last few minutes. It was like they couldn't do anything. Like, what can you do? You have Rice pressing you. You have Saka and Martinelli pressing you, even though they're not going to score goals or be consistent like that. All right, we're going to run at you, and we're just going to press the living hell out of you until you lose the ball, and we're not going to get through our half. You got to get props for that. As a team, you got to get props. It's just now you better go win that damn thing and score goals when you have the opportunities and the chances now. That's what you better do now, which is what we've been talking about this Arsenal team. But they're still leading with 5 points. Obviously, Man City have a game in hand, so potentially might be 2 or 3, whoever, depending on the scoreline. United in 3rd, Aston Villa in 4th, Liverpool in 5th and 6th, with Chelsea at 6th spot, and Brentford in there as well, who can probably get into that 5th spot if they continue closing out strongly as well. But before we go on to their Classicer, as always, you just got to please like and follow the account, man. Shout out to every one of our listeners out there and our followers on TikTok and Instagram. Shout out to you guys. You guys have been killing it with the likes. We appreciate all the interaction and stuff, and we're hoping to do more content as the month progresses, because this is going to be a busy month with obviously the Finalissimas coming up, and we got the qualifier games, and then obviously Champions League will be starting up this coming month as well with the round of 16. So we appreciate all your love and the support. But Isaac, you had a good Saturday, right?
I had a very stressful Saturday, but a very good Saturday. Sabres won that day as well. They're on a heater as well. They're, I think, 82% chance to make the playoffs right now, so I can't stop talking about them or mentioning them as well. But yes, this is a soccer podcast. We are out on loan. We are talking Der Klassiker. Yeah, very good day. I think anytime you can end the day 11 points clear in the lead for the league title, you're walking away pretty happy. Yeah, it was stressful. I mean, Dortmund brought the energy. I think you knew it was an away game. I mean, that's so tough to play there. I think we hadn't won there in 3 years, and you could certainly feel it. I mean, I hadn't really known it was 3 years when going back and thinking about it, but it's crazy when I went back. I mean, a lot more draws. There's some they just play us tough. You had a bad game from the wingers, which is something I think I haven't said the entire season so far, and even still in their worst game of the year, arguably. I think it was still Elise that helped make that final goal possible. So, yeah, it was a nice game. Jeff, I know you watched this, so I would be very interested to sort of see your results from and see what you think of the squad from watching us. Again, this is one of our true real tests in the league. We had sort of handled any other competition up that, even Leipzig and Hoffenheim, who are having a good season, hadn't really been much trouble. Dortmund, they brought it. It took a Kimmich game winner, which was funny because obviously with the reel, I slandered him a little. Jeff, thank you for doing the edit pretty well there. Again, I still a quality player. I still think there's some issues that like I've identified throughout the years. Granted, I mean, he shuts you up. I still think Pavlovich, I think Foot Mob had like a 6.7. I thought he had a little bit better of a game than that. Still kept his, 90+% passing percentage. I think it was like a 94, 95. So he's still Mr. Consistency for that. But yeah, I mean, and then lastly, I mean, I'm glad we have Colby on for this episode. How can you not love Harry Kane? I mean, the pen was a little lucky, but I mean, he still made it. But oh my God, he's just so clinical. He's simply the best in the world. I don't think anyone else touches him for just his all-around game and what he does. There's simply no one better.
Agreed.
No, I completely agree, and that's the one thing. And I think we'll post a reel probably tomorrow, with I think or before Champions League started, because we had these conversations about who are the two top teams, and we saw it today with Arsenal, obviously, only because of just how dangerous they are in just ruining a team and just ruining the way you play, but also this Bayern team because they will come at you, and we saw that with how good clinical Kane can be. Olise, who's still a baller, and we know we've had there's the debates between him, Saka, Kvaratskhelia. I mean, the season that Luis is having has just been absolutely amazing. And Luis Diaz, too. I think he hasn't been –
They've simply both been better, I think, than both those two names this year.
Yeah, and Luis Diaz has just been absolutely clinical, just electric, quick, the speed that he has, even for his age, and just the directness that he brings for that spot. He's just a Bayern-coded player that I didn't think he would have it physically because he's obviously on the older side of I don't know, how old is he? Like 31, 30, 29? Like, I know he's on the older side if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. He's not like this young 25, 23-year-old winger that's going to come at you. Like, that's not his game anymore. But he still has 29. How old is he?
29.
29, yeah. Like, he's not like – yeah, he's like closer to 30 than being 25, you know. So, I think your team is just very dangerous on the attack, as we know. Obviously, Musiala is getting back in there as well, taking that 10 spot. I think he came into the game later on. Gnabry's still in there. I don't know how he's still contributing, but shout out to Gnabry. Still playing.
He's had a bad season. He's kind of consistency. I think he's good. Again, he's great to have for the league games. He's played so many Bundesliga games now. I think he's very good at handling the physicality the league offers. I don't think you're expecting him to be starting. I think if his name winds up on the team sheet for an Atalanta game, I will be very shocked. But, yeah, they also went with a weird switch. I think normally Limer and Stanisic play on the opposite ends. I think they switched this around for this game. There's kind of a notice for it. I don't know. I thought Urbik had another good game. Yeah, the defense, I mean, we gave up 2 goals. I mean, Svensson had a beautiful goal for the second one. If you were watching the game, Jeff, I don't think Schlotterbeck should have even been on the pitch. I thought he deserved a straight red for that first tackle. I know they said on the broadcast like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been a red. I would agree. I think if it's a different game back then, it wasn't a red. Just off of the tackles and what I've seen called this year, I don't know how he wasn't given a red. It was studs up into the leg. And then he goes on to score that goal off a set piece like 5 to 10 minutes later. I almost wanted to shut the game off. It was I was cussing my TV out, I got to be honest. It was really bad. I thought the ref had just a very poor first half in general.
See, he's Madrid-coded, man. He gets away with red cards. That's my player.
It's okay. Hey, we won. Again, I'm not too mad we won, but it was risky. I'll just say that.
No, I mean, Dortmund is that. I mean, obviously, like you said, home game for Dortmund. You haven't won there in 3 years, which is for me so shocking. But I guess it makes sense because you guys had that 1 year where you just I don't even know what happened with you guys that 1 year where you guys were struggling in the league. With Leverkusen won the league that year.
Yeah.
Although Leverkusen was just amazing too, not gonna lie, but you still had like a little bit of a dip in form where you're like, ooh, what's going on? But I think when you talk about this Bayern team, I think you said like, how would you assess your team? I think they are gonna win the Bundesliga. I mean, we've had our boy Ryan Adio talk about it. Dortmund are just not it, and if they're like the top team to contend with you guys, then I mean, I don't think there's any hope for Bayern to not win this. But I will say we'll analyze them in terms of Champions League because they will be going up against Atalanta, and then they will be on the tougher bracket, which I guess we'll go into our reactions a little bit too, because we're in the same bracket, so me and you our teams can potentially face each other if we get through, and then the winner of our team would probably go through the winner of Chelsea and Liverpool and PSG potentially. So we're unfortunately going to be matched up against each other, but I think the one weak point that we will see and we have seen is their defense. They just look a little bit open, and I think, like I said, for this year's Champions League, I just think any team can win it. Like, I don't think there's like a clear-cut favorite as it used to be back then. Like, it was like Man City, or like last year was just Barca because of how well they were doing, or like I don't know who else is the other, like Arsenal, for example. So I think everyone has like a clear weakness per se. Although I will say Bayern and Arsenal are still the top two favorites if I was to rank them. But I feel like anybody can beat this Bayern team because of how open your defense can be. I mean, you're looking at the fullbacks and you're like,
yeah,
you're like
you can get at them.
You can get at them. And then when you're going up against a PSG, and obviously you're not playing in Arsenal yet until potentially the final, or Barca yet. So that's another problem too. But your attack is dangerous. But we had praised Kane, and deservedly so. He's been amazing. I just want to see him turn up this time around in the Champions League, and hopefully just have like a masterclass before he goes out, because I think this will be one of his last few chances to really win it, because he's not getting any younger. He's getting older. He's like, what, 33, 34?
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think as long as he stays at Bayern, I think he has it. I think his ability isn't going to go away with age. I think a lot of it's even very IQ-based positioning, and I don't think his ability at his shot's going to go away. I just don't think he's going to lose that. And especially if Bayern's able to replace or just keep up the sort of output and production that they can get behind him, I don't think that goes away until he decides to leave. I do like that you bring up the fullbacks. I think that's really where it's going to rely. I think Limer's been amazing going forward. I think you always have issues with him and Stanisic going back. Just they can get caught, obviously, in transition, and they're not always the fastest. So Davies is out I think he was out for like 3 weeks once it was announced. How he gets back, he's going to add a whole lot to that team. I will say I do love our center backs. I think from watching Upamecano, I think his recovery speed, I don't know if there's a faster center back in the world, if other than Van de Ven, that I can really think of. I think his ability to kind of just track back and get back after those sort of forwards that I think we'd have to go up against. I don't really know anyone that can really. I'm too worried about him going against Ta, and I think he's going to bring a real physical presence. So I'm not really worried about our center backs. I think Ito is you're going to see a lot more as one of our fullbacks. I think his speed as well. He's a lot faster on the ball. I think he's really coming. I know we had the reel about him as well. I think you're going to see more of him and Davies. I think might be the preferred in a Champions League, or having Limer on the right and one of those two come in. But yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, every team has a weakness. There's no clear cut. I have my pick. And I guess my final thing I'd like to say about the league, I don't know what it changed off of with this game, but they gave this stat that the difference between the goal difference for goals scored between us and Dortmund alone would, if you just took that, would put you 7th in the league total, I believe, in terms of goals scored. So, I mean, simply the output is just something you've never seen before. I think realistically, there's a talk about now I've seen from fans of, can we finish the year on 120 goals? They're already talking about 100 as a lock. I mean, you see only 24 matches played. I think 88 goals for. I've never seen anything like this from a Bayern squad, just week in, week out. We've obviously had our high scoring matches in the past, but consistently week in, week out to bang out 3-4 goals like it's nothing. I
think you're definitely breaking the 100 goals, but 120 now, if Kane can pull something out of his ass, and we've seen it before, bro, where he can just score 5, who knows, bro? And like those, and they might know it again in this era and time. They probably are reading the news. They probably know that we can break the record, so let's do it. But it couldn't buy pressure, or it couldn't buy that motivation to just go out and just kill teams,
Well, I mean, there's the quote company they asked. They're like, "You're 11 points clear. What do you think?" He's like, "What do you mean the pressure's still there? Like we gotta finish this off. Like we can't let this." So there's no indication. I think even the mentality in the club is to see this the way out. and to score as much as possible here. I truly think they're like, there's, like you said, with the social media, I think they want to break that record.
Can I just say I would love to see Bayern and Arsenal play in the final and just see Harry Kane slot one home for the win. I think I would cry tears of joy. I think I would cry tears of joy. So
that would save Tottenham's season if you saw that, right? Kane scored against Arsenal in the final. I think that saves your guys' season.
I think it's as close as we're gonna get to our season being saved. Yeah. So I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, again, Isaac, you know how much love I have for Bayern for the amount of times they've, out of the respect of them beating us, but then obviously how many times you destroyed Barcelona. Obviously, if you guys beat us, I'll root for you guys in the final through and through. I'll probably wear the Bayern jersey, or if Tottenham get through as well, which I doubt, I'll be wearing the Tottenham jersey.
Yeah, well, there's still a chance we can get a Bayern Tottenham final. I don't know what we got to start talking about that.
You're right. Hey.
Remember the last time those two teams played, Isaac?
Oh,
that's true.
Oh God.
Who? Tottenham and Bayern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to know, but I will say final thing on Bayern as we get into our UCL things and a bit of La Liga too to close off the show. I will say I think the other key thing for your team is your midfield, as we mentioned. I think that midfield, Musiala, Kimmich, and Pavlovic, oh my God, you're going to break down teams. Like, you're just going to break down so many teams. And you're going to control the tempo. And oh God, just that midfield is like one of the best in the world, I would say, too. Mm-hmm. Might not be the most physically gifted, but I know for a fact you guys are just going to have the ball. You're going to be in the right spots. You're going to pick out a Kane run or a run from Davies or a Nalisa run behind the back. And Lucho Diaz, I mean, there's no surprise why he's having one of his best seasons. I mean, bro, the way he gets feet through Kane, through Kimmich, through Plahovic, through Davies, or there are other fullbacks that come in because I know Davies just got back into the squad. And then now you add Musiala in there, who's just another force of, like, creativity and just the danger that teams have to watch out for. Like, you guys are – your midfield, man, is definitely one of the other key things why you guys are going. It's not just your attack. It's not just that. It's your midfield too, which a lot of people are not really talking about. And I know their defense is questionable, but I will say, like Isaac said, your defense is almost like us in the sense that, like, it's going to come down to individual brilliance because you guys do go high up, obviously, with your fullbacks and the way you press and attack. So the fact that you have fast and quick one-on-one defenders like Upamecano and then Ito coming in there. You have Lamer in there, who I know is a good fullback too, but I think your defense and midfield are just kind of a little bit slept on, and that could work in the Champions League. Bundesliga, already know, man. I think they're going to get through. I think they're definitely getting 100. 120, though, I don't know. But if you're confident, man, then sure, bro. Go ahead, man. If you're confident with that.
I'd love a Kane 50-goal season.
I'm confident for you guys. But now moving on a little bit to La Liga before we close off this show. I know it's a long one, but I think it's been rolling well, so I don't really mind it. Obviously, if we look at the table real quick before I pull it up, Barcelona are still in there in first place after we completely blew them. I don't even want to talk about it too much, but before we blew it ourselves.
It's time to go.
If I can just share my screen just to show the table as well. Let's see real quick. Yeah, we got Barca still up there. I know we're behind with 2 points, and we have a game to play, which is tomorrow, obviously at 12. We go up against Getafe, which is going to be a tough team to go break down because that's just one of the haram teams that you just don't want to go up against, as Twitter likes to call them, those just annoying teams, low blocks. Injuries here and there with Madrid, obviously. Obviously, the breaking news has been the Kylian Mbappe injury, which has kept him out for a bit. We were not too sure whether he'll make it to Man City, which I guess, speaking of which, I guess it is appropriate to bring up. Yeah, sit down, Jeff.
Sit down.
I couldn't believe when we got Man City.
Who could have saw that coming?
I mean, I can believe it. The past 3 years tell me the same thing happens.
Not me. Look, man, I think I found a stat or I saw a stat posted somewhere. I'm not going to fully count on it, true, but I mean, it makes sense. What are the likelihoods of Madrid and Man City facing each other, like, 5 times out of the 6 years that they played against each other? 5 times in a row. It was like 0.05, 2.3% or something like that. I mean, it's rigged, man. I think after this draw, if we get if we're in the possibility of facing Man City, I'll be like, yeah, we're facing City. There's no point. After what I saw at this past Friday, I will never ever doubt the fact that they will always put us against Man City because it's just the money matchup. And It's not that I'm scared of playing against them because I obviously am. We don't have any defenders against them, but oh god, I'm just bored of that matchup. Like, couldn't we have at least gotten Sporting and then?
I'd rather see them play Liverpool, to be honest.
Or play Liverpool again. I would have liked that rematch too. Even though that's another boring matchup too. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure, but I would rather that than Man City again.
Obviously, it's just boring. Like, I don't really care for it anymore. But we'll go quickly through them. Paris versus Chelsea. I'm not going to make my full predictions yet because I think a lot can change before March 10th or 11th when they start the knockout rounds. But I do think Chelsea can pull the upset there. So I don't know. I think Aricha looked at us. I think we all got half of it right. If we looked at the graphics that I made, we all got 50-50 out of it. I think I did get it right. Me and Isaac got it right with the Paris and Chelsea matchup. We all got it wrong for the Galatasaray Liverpool one. I really thought Tottenham were going to play Galatasaray. I really did. So I did. I thought they were going to do it.
I'm glad we aren't.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that because now you guys are playing Atleti versus Tottenham, which
I'd rather play Atleti than Galatasaray.
That is true. But I will say, when you go,
I didn't say I favored Essen either, by the way.
That's good.
That was the other thing too. I was like, this is such a Tottenham can pull this through because of the name. But I was like, no, Galatasaray would absolutely probably beat the living hell out of them.
Lookman's due for a hat trick the second he steps on the field, by the way. I know the script all too well. I've seen this one.
Is he going to get a hat trick at Tottenham's ground, or is he going to get
he will. He'll walk in there and walk around the defense and do whatever he wants.
Obviously, Atalanta versus Bayern, so shout out to you, Isaac. And I think you gave me the boost and confidence to make that pick too.
Give me Atalanta.
They love us some Italian teams. They love Bayern versus Italy in the first round.
They do. Hopefully this time you don't blow it like you did against Inter, man.
Thank you. That was at least the semis.
He just talked about how he loved Bayern, then he says something like that.
We beat Lazio in the first round one time. You know what I mean? You don't mention that. I don't know. It's okay.
Jeff, you were nearly not here. Let's not forget that.
Who do you have to play next, even if you win, Jeff? Hopefully. Jeez. Okay, come on.
I said if you guys beat us, I'll be rooting for you, but we're not playing you guys. We're probably gonna lose to Man City. I mean, when we look at the freaking defense that we have to go up against. You know what's funny too? Shout out to Erling Haaland for doing that Sidemen video. He might be out too, so shout out to him, man. I don't know if you saw those reels. Did you see the one meme where it was like KSI injuring Haaland just so Arsenal can win the league? That's funny. That's a good one.
That's crazy. I think if they beat you guys, that'd be a pretty big upset in my opinion. I don't.
Who Man City beating Madrid?
Yeah, I think so. I just think the talent on paper you guys have that would make that an upset.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not to say that they can't win, but I'm just saying I think.
Yeah, I think for us, I would give us 60-40 to possibly win. I mean 60 in terms of Man City being the favorites, and then 40% for us. I think that's the right way because you have to consider the fact that we are the Aura merchants in the Champions League.
Merchants.
We like to get the luckiest bounce, and then we get a goal, or we get the referees in our favor because they have to.
Maybe you're right.
And I wouldn't be surprised, but I just think our defense is going to really let us down. But I'll give my final take before the games. I'm just looking through giving us a quick reactions. Newcastle versus Barca, as I think me and Isaac called it as well. We call that one.
That'll be good.
I think that one's going to be good. That St. James's Park environment's going to go crazy.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But I do think Rashford is going to kill it down there. So I don't know.
Didn't they play in the qualifiers?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Rashford scored 2 goals against Newcastle.
Yeah.
And Koundé had the greatest right back performance of all time, according to this one Newcastle fan. I remember that shit.
According to this one Newcastle.
Yeah, he was like, dude, Koundé, that is the best right back performance I've ever seen in my life. I'm like,
you can tell he's been watching Newcastle his whole life if he's saying that.
He's a proper lad. What a proper lad, man. What a guy, man. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in that matchup. I think it's really going to come down to who's going to be injured by the time that point happens. Because every time before a big matchup like this, there's going to be injuries, change of tactics, momentum shifts. Who knows? So shout out to Isaac and myself for that, I guess. Lecce versus Tottenham, as we know. Lookman. Bodo Glimt versus Sporting. I'm excited for that matchup only because I think Bodo Glimt will pull it through. But oh man, I have to buy a Bodo Glimt jersey if they get through and they play like Arsenal, because I do think Arsenal will probably beat Leverkusen. But
I would love Leverkusen upset there. That'd be phenomenal.
No way. I'd love it. But
Don't sleep on them. I think they're going to give them a tough game. I think it's going to be a tougher matchup than people think.
Yeah, I agree so too. And you brought up the stats like you said last week. You or 2 weeks ago, you're like, yeah, like they have the top 5 defense in the Bundesliga, top 5 offense, so that's going to trouble their teams and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much our quick little reactions here and there. It's mainly for me. I was just bummed out on the fact that I just couldn't believe we got Man City again. I really couldn't believe it. I literally thought, like, there's no way, like, no chance. But Ciran, you're the master just putting me back to reality. Like, Jeff, dude, it's Man City. Like, they're gonna.
I was gonna say, as soon as I saw, what was it, like a month or two ago when those came out, and it was like your potential opponents down the line, I was like, yeah, that's a lock for Man City. Like, come on now.
For me, it was just like it's too obvious. Like you can't do it again. Like there's no way.
But they can.
But they can.
Oh,
They've been doing that, Jeff. That's the thing. You just look at the past 3 years, and it's like that or City or Madrid always play Liverpool too.
It's so
another matchup.
Also, hot take. I don't mean we don't have to debate this, but I also think, man, I hate this new format in the sense of like they already know like who we're gonna play right after. Like I just want it back to the old times where like you can make every round like there should be a draw. Like that'll make it so much more interesting. I think that's what kind of killed my love for the Champions. Like I don't want to know if you're gonna play Bayern. Like I'd be like curious to know like, ooh, would we get like Barca in this round, or will we get like Bodo Glimt, or will we get an Arsenal now, or will we get a Chelsea or a PSG or a Liverpool? But now it's like, oh yeah, they predetermine the bracket, and it's just like it's kind of lame, honestly. Like I don't know, and determine like the home games too, like who's gonna play home and away first. Like they used to do that back in the day. That's what made those Bayern games so interesting, Isaac. I don't know if you remember too. Like, this was made it so interesting. Like, oh, Bayern in the quarterfinals. Like, okay, what's the home game? Oh, it's that. Oh, okay, cool. Like, it's just, it brings more like, I guess, more things to talk about, more predictions, more bettings. I guess if you guys are bettors, and just I don't know, just more of like a curiosity and a spark to like excitement. But now it's just dead. But I think that's all I got. Yeah, I did want to talk.
It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
And those memes are going to be pulling up later.
Honestly, imagine if like Igor Tudor did something just like that for Tottenham. Like if he replicated that,
I would lose it. I would lose
that
it.
would be incredible.
You know what? That would be something that would actually pick my spirits up a little bit for once. So I hope that does happen.
You get that like a T-shirt or something if that happens. You have to remember that.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
It'll say, I survived Tottenham 2024.
Oh, I got some big news for you, Ciran. Me and Richard will be visiting St. James's Park this coming Wednesday. We're going to fly out this coming Tuesday, actually, or Wednesday morning. We're going to go fly out there. It's going to be a fun experience being at St. James's Park. It'll be a real good time.
Is it like a local park in LA?
Wait, are you being serious?
We're
or
going to St. James's Park. No, we're literally going to go to St. James's Park. We're going to fly out, me and Richard. This coming Wednesday. We're going to go watch that United game.
It's March right now, Jeff.
I mean, this Wednesday, sorry. This Wednesday. Sorry. It's going to be a good time.
I don't believe you, Jeff.
Dude, a flight to England is like thousands of dollars. No way.
You would have to leave tomorrow, Jeff, basically. Or Tuesday.
No, trust. I'll be there. I'm going to send you some pics and some videos, too.
Where are you sitting at, Jeff?
He's going to a watch-along at some pub in LA.
Where are you sitting at, Jeff? Tell me.
I'll be like in the, like, I don't, I'll be near I'll be in the weigh-in.
Where's the weigh-in at? Where's it at, Jeff?
I think that's near what?
He's gotta know the whole stadium.
I don't believe him. I'm sorry. I don't believe him. I don't believe him
at all. He's obviously full of it.
I think he's going to the restaurant.
Why would you have to know the stadium to have to?
You know that restaurant in LA where it's like
you'll see, bro. I'll send you videos, proof. For all my listeners,
it's like some dog park named St. James's Park, like 5 minutes from his house.
No, you know that restaurant where it's like the VR, where like you're actually at the stadium through like the restaurant screen?
Oh yeah.
Jeff's going there. I'm betting Jeff's just going there.
I'm going to St. James's Park, trust.
You are not going to St. James's Park, Jeff.
But you know what? I'm done.
Shot this. Yeah.
But that'll be all for episode 27 of the Outlawn Podcast. As always, thank you guys for this awesome, fun episode. It's always great having you, Bert. We hope to have you on more. I don't know what your Wednesday schedule is looking like, but we hope to have you on Wednesday if you can, possibly at 6:30. I know it might not be possible, but Who knows? Because there are some Premier League games going on this weekend, and we got the Barca versus Atleti semifinal, which I will not do predictions of, because every time I predict against Barca, the hate watch will not go up. But they do play this coming Tuesday, so we'll have another episode this coming Wednesday with Premier League, and then obviously that St. James's Park experience too. I'll kind of like to recap that as well, Doc. So I hope you'll tag along for that too, man.
You want me to go with you?
Man, I'll meet you down there, man. You're closer to England than me, so if you want to go out like that Tuesday, and I'll somehow magically make it that Wednesday, I'll do it.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll try and see if I can get a ticket.
I'll wear my United jersey. I'll get Richard to get me a second United jersey. I'll get that on the way too. But you're listening to the Outlaw Podcast. This is episode 27, and we hope to see you in the next one.